Hey guys, this will be fun. It's actually a calculator I built so you can grapple with the numbers and make sense of them. So if you check on the main page of the website, just to point this out, there's a snippet calculator. So you can actually open it and play with it yourself. It's a calculator I'm about to walk you through right now. So here we go, okay? Everything in yellow is a thing you can change, okay? So you're gonna change 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things, that's it. And then the rest of this just auto fills in. And the real question is, as you're getting extra leads for the magic snippet, as that increases or decreases, okay, how many weeks, months or years does it take to make each profit of $100,000, okay? And I just put it in weeks, okay? So I did this because a lot of people are totally at different dollar levels, and some people are paying for ads, other people are not. And I thought, I really have to sort of encapsulate the entire thing in a way that people can use in a calculator. All right, so let's just start. I'm just going to walk you through what these are, right? Average number of new daily leads, okay? It's not the people come to your website purely. You might get 100 people come to your webpage, but how many of them actually are signing up? They're taking some conversion action, some desired action of yours, right? They fill out the form, or they give you a call, or they inquire, they book an appointment, something. Sign up to your newsletter. Let's say you get an average of 5. I don't care what numbers you put in because this calculator works for everyone, big and small. So put in any numbers you want, okay? Let's say you get 5 new inquiries a day, or bookings, or 2 inquiries and 3 bookings, whatever it is, right? 5 of that kind of conversion action, 5 leads. Okay, now, of the visitors who become leads, right, what is the percentage of them? In other words, if you got 5 leads a day, does that mean 5 people a day came to your website and 100% of them converted? No. So we're going to assume that your leads is a small fraction of your total visitors, because it's what's always true for everyone. Never seen a business where that wasn't true. If your need level is higher, if people are coming to your website because they need your product, like a diabetic pill, they have diabetes, they have to get a diabetic pill, that does not mean that 100% or 90% are going to buy your product. They're still window shopping between you and your competitors. Okay? So what is the percentage of visitors who become leads in your case? Could be around 4 or 5%. And so if you're getting like 5 inquiries and you have 100 competitors, chances are everyone's getting 5 inquiries. The average guy's getting 5 inquiries. And that explains why each of you is only getting like 5% of the total leads, or whatever it is. Okay? So anyway, put a number there. Put like 3 or 4 or 5. Literally, you can just change these numbers like so. Okay? You could say whatever makes sense to you. All right, estimated percent of paid traffic out of your total paid and free traffic. Do you mainly pay for ads and some guys also come to your website organically? Or does all of your traffic come from ads? No one comes organically? Or does all your traffic come organically? Or maybe you just pay for 10% of your traffic and the other 90% comes through organically. It's kind of rare that happens for anyone, but hey, just put it down. So if you pay for like 90% of your traffic, 50% of your traffic, 20% of your traffic, whatever it is, okay? Average number of paid daily visitors. Do not change that because it's not in yellow. All right? So literally, it's telling you numbers based on what you said already. You said you got 8 leads per day, and that's 3% of your total. And that you're paying for about half of your total, 50% of the total traffic. So it's telling you how many people that must be that visit your website every day, okay, that you paid for. And how much did you pay in each case? $2 a click, more, less, 50 cents a click, 20 bucks a click? I know DUI lawyers in LA are paying like $260 a click, every click, okay? Not every lead. This is a visitor. I want to make this clear because there are 2 things. One is visitors. Another is leads. Leads is a subset of visitors. You get a lot more visitors than you get leads. A bunch of people walk in. Most walk out. A few are left who do anything. So the visitors walk in and out. Of all the visitors that came in the door, a few of them become leads. Okay. So this is asking, how much did you pay for every visitor? If you pay, like in the example I gave earlier, guy paid 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks, 20 bucks every time someone came to his site. He paid 400 bucks for 20 visitors to come to his site, but he only heard from like one of those guys. Okay. And yes, he was paying for 90% of his website hits. Okay. So there are about 10 people out of 100 come to his site for free. He didn't have to pay for those ads. Any one of those 1 in 10 could convert into a sale. Okay. If it's the same ratio one way or the other, then it's like 1 in 20. He'd be getting a sale every other day, or at least a lead every other day from the organic traffic, and the rest comes from paid. Okay, now you can study the numbers. It's going to tell you what's going on. You paid for half, that's 133. The number of free daily visitors is also 133 because of that. If I said I paid for 70% of my traffic, that's 187, and what's left is like 80 who came for free. Okay, now what? Total daily visitors is paid and free visitors all together. So that's how many people are really coming to your site, like 267. And you're only getting 8 that are actually becoming leads. So out of 267 who came, 8 did something. So the daily visitors who are lost leads, they're unidentifiable. You have no way of figuring out who they are and how to reach back out and contact them. That's 259 out of those 267. Because what's left over is the 8 who did something, who became leads. Okay. So the percentage of visitors who are unidentifiable, they just walk off and you don't know who they were. You know you paid for them. You don't know who they were. That's 97%. Because, hey, only 3% of your visitors become leads. So the daily money wasted on unidentifiable visitors, in other words, if you could have it your own way, you just would not have paid for those guys to come to your website since they did not click on anything. They just walked away. That's $362 in this example, okay, of paying $2 per visitor, right? That would be $362.13 lost every day, okay? Because you have to pay for all those guys who don't do anything in order to pay for a few guys who do something. And you're just trying to make your site cooler so that more of the people do something. But for everyone who came and went, you don't know who they are, that is your loss because they're unidentifiable. You have no chance of reaching back out to them again and saying, hey, what, here's a coupon. Did you not find what you were looking for? Hey, give us a call. We'll walk you through and demo the whole thing. You know, some way of following up with them. Okay. Now let's continue. So this was all just about visitors coming and going and how much they cost you. Let's take it a step up. Let's talk about your profit out of that. So the average number of leads that you need to create each sale, let's say that's like 3. Okay. Well, if you get 8 leads a day and 3 form a sale, ain't that cool? So now we know what's going on. You get a little more than 2 sales per day. You almost get 3, right? All right. So check this out. The revenue per sale. How much revenue per sale do you get? Let's say you get $500 revenue from every sale. In other words, for every 3 of these guys that do something, you make $500 on average. You did the numbers. You just know that. You know how much you spent last month on ads. You know how many sales you got out of it. You know how many people you paid who came to your site. In other words, how many clicks you paid for. And you know how many people booked appointments or called in or bought something. Okay. You know the numbers from last month, the month before, same time a year ago, all that kind of thing. You know, if you're seasonal. All right. So if you took in revenue of $500 from 3 people, you know, per sale, what was your cost of goods? Okay. Outside of the advertising costs, outside of the paid visitor costs, what is your normal cost of goods for the $500, you know, of revenue? Let's say $250. Let's say you have to pay half to make your money. So for when you get $500, aside from advertising, you've got to pay $250 anyway, even if they're free, right? That's the cost of goods sold. Now, the cost per number of leads that you needed to make a sale is about 140 bucks. Why? Because 3 is just a little less than 8, or a little less than half of 8. And in order to get 8 leads, you had to pay for all those guys coming through. Okay, you had to pay for the unidentifiable visitors plus the 3% of identifiable visitors. Okay, so that's the amount that you paid, was something a little more than 362. It's probably like what, 360, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, something like that, 368 or so. Well, for each sale then, you got to spend like 140 bucks over here in order to get 3 sales. Cost you about 140, okay? 6 sales, or I'm sorry, number of leads to create each sale. So 1 sale cost you 140, 2 sales would cost you like 280, 3 sales would cost you what, 420, which is, closing in on what's going on down here. Anyway. The number of sales you're getting per day would be like 2.67. I went ahead and stretched it out because I know that sales pop unevenly over a few days at a time. Okay. So what's your profit per day? Well, we just figured it out. If you take your revenue minus your cost minus whatever it was, you've got 293.33. Okay. And that means your profit in a 5-day week is that times 2.67, by the way, sales per day. Anyway, your profit in a day is like 300 bucks. Your profit in a week is like 1,467 or so. Your profit in 50 weeks is like 73,300. Okay, there you go. So if we just think 50 weeks you work out of the year, right? You're taking in like 73,333 profit before taxes, right? Okay, so we figured out what's going on over here. Okay, and you can have the fun double checking the numbers, making sure nothing's wrong here, but you'll get it. I mean, if you use dummy numbers, you'll see it right away, right in front of your eyes. Okay, let's take it one step further. Average cost for a magic snippet lead. Okay, anywhere from like $5 to 300 bucks. It depends on the industry you're in, whatever the standard cost per lead is within that industry. Pest control, that's cheap, right? Because you got to call through a couple of guys, but pest control guys don't make a lot of money when they do the job. So pest control is pretty cheap, okay? What else is cheap? That's mostly the cheap end. As you go up the ladder, you get things like this. Carpet cleaning, carpet installation. Those guys are more like 25 bucks a lead. Tow truck. That gets a little more, maybe it's like 25 to 35. About the time you're talking roofing, you're talking like 80 bucks a lead. By the time you're talking DUI, you're talking like 200, 250 bucks a lead. By the time you're talking real estate, buying or selling a house, you're talking like 300 bucks a lead. Especially depending on the area of the nation, because this can be different for every region. Right? So we work with the going prices in each area, and that's easy to see because as we text a bunch of companies, we see what they buy. And besides, it's easy to look up what these standard rates are, and it's even easy to look up how much people spend in Google AdWords to get these leads. So if this seems expensive to you, step back and realize how much your ads cost you. If you pay 20 bucks for 20 people to come to your site to have one conversation, that's 400 bucks a conversation. Okay. If it takes 3 conversations to make a sale, that's 1,200 bucks you got to pay to get a sale, right? Some guys are doing that. It just depends on your industry and what you're selling. Okay, so doesn't matter what the numbers are. Don't think, oh, he's scaring me away with these big numbers, big costs. It's all totally dependent. If you're in some basic MLM program, you don't really have a lot of competition. It's a very niche sort of thing, but it's MLM, and so most of your guys aren't necessarily going to do much. These leads can be priced low, especially if you're trying to wholesale them to give your up-and-coming downline a reason to join your group, not someone else's. If you've got to hand these leads to your sales team or your affiliates in different places, they can be middlemen. Okay, so give me a call if you're doing something big and you understand what's going on. Otherwise, this is just the whole thing for the general purpose scheme. And also, if you want to get particular projects from us, we'll work off of this. Okay. Extra leads, the percentage from Magic Snippet. So far, we haven't touched that, right? We're saying if you started to pay for leads, they cost you however much. And I just put 20 bucks in here. Okay. I don't care. Let's put 25. Okay. Extra leads from Magic Snippet, 0% or a range that makes sense for our delivery, which is going to be somewhere between 1/4 to 3/4. Let's start with 1/4. Let's start with saying we can only decrypt about 25% of your visitors, because it's going to be different for every industry, different for need, greed, curiosity, fear, age range, different factors involved. But let's say 25%. Okay. The extra leads that you would get from the Magic Snippet would therefore be 65. At this 25% mark, you get like a 65 extra leads in the same period of time that you did not get before. So now your cost per lead went up, didn't it? It used to be $2 a lead. Well, $2 plus 25 bucks is 27 bucks. And so you're seeing $27.36. Yeah, rounding error. It's just because 25% of whatever these numbers were, and you get 2.67 sales a day or whatever. Yeah, you're getting rounding errors. Okay? Now, that means your total leads cost per day shot up. You're spending $2,000 on your cost. But this is the goal. How many weeks does it take to make a profit of $100,000 based on all of these numbers? What was it at zero? Because right now it's 4.9 weeks. If you work your butt off with those leads coming in, if you go contacting each of those guys and stay on top of them, you can make that much money that fast. Because people are people. The guys who came and did not call you, they left your website, you think they're a lost sale because they're not interested. That's not true at all. Most people are just not very committal when they first start looking around the sites. Takes them a few times. You ever hear that? You got to contact them a few times? Well, if you contact them smartly, if you interact with them well, you can convert them pretty quickly. It may take you some days or weeks depending on what it is you sell, right? How many times you reach out and touch them. But whatever your numbers are, you have a sense for the numbers. The numbers are still based on humans who are interested in what you have to offer. So a little more time, you'll do a little better. Everyone who comes to the webinar is not ready to buy your thing until after the webinar, then they are. Usually that conversation is all it takes. It's like if you go to a car lot and you're looking at a bunch of cars, you might think, that's nice. That's kind of interesting. That looks pretty good. But if you don't see anyone, you might meander off the car lot and walk onto another one over there. Right? Because you just don't know how to commit to one of these cars in front of you. You don't have enough information. But as if the car salesman sees you and he comes your way, and hi, and he's polite and friendly and helpful, courteous and kind, you know he's there to sell you, but it's okay because you're looking. You're actually happy that he's coming. And as soon as he starts talking to you, you know what happens, you're going to buy a car. Those guys are good, right? That's what they do. So you want to make $100,000, how fast, right? Let me come back to this. If you don't do anything with Magic Snippet and you just stick to your old numbers, based on these numbers, it would take you over a year to make a profit of $100,000. It'd take about 68 weeks. The moment you engage the Magic Snippet and start paying for the leads, but you contact those guys, even at just 25% conversion, you're down to 5 weeks to make $100,000. If I said, would you work hard if you could make the $100,000 in 5 weeks instead of 68? All because you added the code snippet, and as soon as those text and messages start appearing on your phone, you start contacting people. Yeah, because think about what that's like, right? You figure out with the guys, okay, I'm going to talk to an older lady who's married, no kids in the house, lived at a residence a long time. She's got a graduate degree. Ooh, she's got some really nice net worth. Okay, she was just looking into my, whatever it is, ABC. Okay, so I'm going to call her. And you literally call her. Hi, I want to make sure I have the right number. Was somebody here looking for an ABC? Okay, if you're a roofer, hi, do I have the right, was somebody here looking into a new roof? Yeah. Hi, was somebody here looking at a carpet installation? I got this number from my sales team. They said they weren't sure if the number was correct or not. Don't mean to bother you. Oh, you are? Okay, so that's the point. Do it, do it, do it, do it. That is how you add a zero to the end of your income every month. You could just keep paying for tons more leads, but you're wasting so much money. Instead of wasting however much you were wasting before, if you just double your spend on ads, you're going to waste twice as much of that money. It's such an inefficient process. It's like trying to pour water into the bathtub. That's your money, right? Filling the tub, but nobody stopped the drain, right? But once you stop the drain, you hold the water in place. You reach back out and grab it again. Somehow, you call, you add them to the newsletter, you send them the brochure, you do a little vol of it, you let your sales team do it, hire a guy to do your calls if you need. You're going to make your money so much faster that you can pay for both of you right away. Okay? That is what you do. Right? I've had people just literally say, my wife even, she went somewhere, she was looking for something, and then she left the website, and a minute later her phone rang, and somebody very nice on the other side and upbeat said, hi, we hear you're in the market for such and such. And my wife laughed, and she said, actually, yeah, I'm kind of looking into it now. And they're saying, oh yeah, great, what are your questions? We're here in your area. And that turned into a great conversation. My wife said, I asked her outright, I said, was it irritating or did it bother you? She said, no, felt like great customer service. I was kind of lost. I was confused. I wasn't sure what I was reading, but I didn't know who to call and whether I was going to waste somebody's time. And the lady just straight called me. Hi, we hear you're in the market for a ABC. She's like, yeah, actually I am. And she said it was so nice. She said if they would have called the next day, it would have been irritating. If they would have called a week later, she'd have been bothered by it. But no, I mean, they called at the time she's thinking about it, which is the perfect time in that case. Now, some things people want to get into, they're always going to want to get into. A guy wants to buy Bitcoin now, probably want to buy Bitcoin tomorrow, and the next day, the next day, and the next day, okay? That's different. Some things go on and on and on, and it doesn't really matter so much when the person's interested. But if you want to drive those sales, you must excite the people or meet their need or their curiosity or their fear. And that stuff is emotional. People don't buy when they're bored. They buy when they want to be excited or they want to solve a problem or they want to annex a solution or they want to start a relationship with a CPA or a copywriting lawyer or something, right? So get a hold of them now when they're interested because they went to a lot of trouble. They lifted their phone, did this bit, hit Google, and kind of like tried to forget all the ads stuffed in their face, and they tried to just type something that they're interested in. And when they saw results and they started looking at them, they thought, let's see about that one there. They clicked. We're going to text you the wording they clicked on, what they want to know. Okay? And if this is a project done on your website, we will give you the exact URL of your website that they landed on. And all the stuff about who they are and what they're like. Okay? What if at that rate, what if you get good at those calls, fielding those calls, answering those calls? What if we're actually converting more like 50% of those leads? You can make 100K in 2.5 weeks instead of 68. Why? Because you're going to get 131 converted leads from the magic snippet. Okay. Remember that came from these numbers over here. How many paid daily visitors are coming to your site plus how many free daily visitors equals your total daily visitors, 267, right? So if you're already getting yourself 8 interactions and we're getting you another 131 out of that money you're spending. Okay, that is plugging that hole in the tub for sure. It's not just so you can turn the water up so you can keep losing water constantly. It's plugging the hole, right? So that's a huge amount. What if we could manage to get you to 75%? I've seen 76 conversions out of 100 for things that were specific enough that the guy who was doing the searching was going to be professional enough that there's information on him. Okay, 1.7 weeks. What is that? 12 days, 11 or 12 days. If I told you, would you work super hard for 100K in 11 or 12 days? You just put up with all the calls you got to make, any rejection you get along the way, because you won't get a lot if you're calling on time, because people almost always feel like it's great customer service if you're good at what you do and you call them about something they're looking for at the time they're looking for it. And because you know enough about them, you're not going to make them feel, what's the word? You're not going to make them, upset that you're speaking down to them because you assume too little of them, or you're talking about the wrong deal, or you're talking about things that don't apply, like if they don't have kids, if she's not married, or if she does have a college degree, or who knows what. So, whether net wealth is high or low, her net holdings, her average annual income. And that way, because you know stuff about them, you can just seem to aim in exactly the right direction and pitch what they're looking for. It'll feel very much to them like a match made in heaven. All of them, every single one of those 196 calls you make? No. Maybe as you get good, it'll be something like 170 out of the 196. Maybe it'll be 185. Maybe not everyone will buy either. Maybe just 100 will buy. But do you know what that's like? Okay, just the idea that you can get that many extra guys buying, even if they're buying later after an email campaign goes out. And so if it's an email campaign, you got to build in the time for how long it takes to make your 100 grand, because you're not going to call them, but you're going to go the long way. You're just simply going to tap them from afar through their emails so that you don't have to call them. Yeah, just take the zero off your monthly income. Okay. If you're making $1,700 a month by doing email campaigns, you'll make $17,000 a month by calling. So if you want to give up the calling for $17,000 a month and just email them, knock a zero off and drop it back to $1,700 a month. Okay. Now I'm just saying that loosely because those numbers again are going to apply to everyone differently. But I think you get the point. Okay. So here you go. There is that calculator. Again, the calculator for you to play with, right? Right here on the front page of the site, so you can check it out anytime you're ready. All right, I hope you found this interesting. I hope you found this training series interesting. I think that's the most I have for the moment, but as we keep producing this, we're going to get a lot more feedback and interesting points, and there's actually so much more to the system. So definitely stay on the list. When you sign up for the free snippet, you're accepting that we're going to contact you with offers and ideas and advice and new training notes when we put up new training. And we're assuming that surely you're going to be interested in it until you unsubscribe, which is no problem at all. Okay. All right. Stick with it. And yeah, we're going to help you get a lot more profitable, a lot more faster. And it starts with you getting 100 free leads by requesting your free snippet. Because if you do that, then you should be able to make enough money off those 100 guys to start paying for leads, and you're already in the groove, okay? There you go. And if you don't have a website of your own, you don't know what you want to sell, but you want to know how to make money anyway, passively, from lead sales happening in different industries across the nation, give me a call. I'll explain how that goes. We got videos about all that stuff that's going on. And for those of you who are a business and you say, how can I get a lot bigger? I have stuff I can sell nationwide. I got audio video training that I can sell nationwide. I'm an expert. I want to go huge. Give me a call. We'll talk about it. Okay? All right. Hope you found this interesting. And yeah, can't wait to work with you. And can't wait to make you a lot richer. Okay.